Welcome, these will be my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 14, Spend. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be. There will be spoilers for the episode and all the ones leading up to it, all of which I love. Let's dive right in. Holy shit. Yeah, I can... It's really heating up. Okay, let's see. So yes. I really appreciate seeing more, like... I wasn't expecting more of Carol and Sam together. But yeah, I really appreciate the relationship they have, and yeah, Abraham taking charge, and we have yeah, we find out the truth about what happened to the other, yeah, Aiden and Nicholas. Are those their names? I think. Pretty sure one of them. Okay, one of them is Deanna's son. Him and the other one left them behind. And yeah, the stuff with Eugene was great. Yeah, I think everything else we're gonna do scene by scene. So yeah, Gabriel, good detail that yeah, of course, there's one of the oh, it was it from Olivia? It was one of the someone who from an Alexandrian got him. Were those strawberries? Am I remembering that right? Those cannot be that. Yeah, that's quite the I don't want strawberries. Maybe I should go become a priest in Alexandria. But yeah, he is clearly in distress, tearing up the Bible like he just discovered anti-theism or something. I used to be an anti-theist. I get to make fun of anti-theism. I'm still an atheist, but I'm not like right. And for those who don't know, anti-theist means you're like really aggressive, like yeah, about not being a believer and yeah, moving on. Yeah, let's see. I think was the second scene the yeah, Deanna's husband Reg, I want to say his name is, and Noah talking. God damn it, they really do, because the fact that Noah dies by the end of the episode, they just really wanted us to be like, "Oh, that's so sweet." He's really thinking about the future, and God damn it. And they just fixed his leg too, like Eric said. Was it Eric? Or was it Aaron? Shit, it might have been Aaron. One of them said that they could, yeah. Right, I also did really appreciate, don't know how I forgot to mention it, but Reg and Rick together in the episode before this one, talking about, who, like, Rick sort of being modest and being like, well, and and I think it's, yeah, well, and it's pointed out, well, we now live behind those walls. We're kept safe by Reg's walls. But yeah, Reg and Noah talking about, yeah, just, God damn it. And, yeah, I like the thing about, if what was it? If you're waking me up in the early in the morning, why am I the one making breakfast? Can we start having meetings in the mornings now? Why? So you can wake me up and I bring you breakfast. Um, yeah, I think that is, yeah, that's it for that scene. And somewhere around here we also have Abraham, you know, splashing water in his face and trying to, you know, yeah, honestly, right before the walkers started showing up, it seemed like he was struggling to contain himself. And, I've talked about before, I think, let's see, I want to say it was Tara. I think God damn it, I really hope that they're able to save Tara. I'm really going to miss her. I am already missing Noah. I'm not sure how much I'm going to miss Deanna's son, though. But yeah, I think it was Tara who noted, she pointed out to Abraham that he like liked the violence, and yeah, I don't know if he hadn't gotten to take it out on walkers to save, you know, Francine, then I don't know. I'm a little worried about what might have happened there. I think this is around where in the episode we have, yeah, so the you know they're trying to talk Eugene into coming, and he's like, well, you're not going to bring home the wrong merchandise. It's clearly, you this is what they all look like, regardless of the specific, manufacturer or whatever, um, Tara talking about Noah, so I saw you chatting up that girl. So what's her deal? No, really, what's her deal? God damn it. They're really, really good at this. I think part of why it works so well is also that they don't only make you care about characters right before they die. They'll do it, over the course of, because otherwise we'd immediately clock it. It'd be like, putting, having a non-zero number of red shirts in a TOS episode in any kind of dangerous situation. Like, okay, we see where this is going. Now, yeah, they do manage to convince Eugene and leave for that. Was this around where in the episode? Let's see, we have, yeah, so Rick is going around, he talks to Jesse. Hairdresser has a name. Bingo. Talks to her, and yeah, turns out, someone destroyed the owl statue. And we learn by the end of the episode that it was Sam who did that. And, Rick and Jesse talk about, well, who would do this? I guess someone who doesn't like owls. Are you telling me Sam is the kid from the Tootsie Pop commercial? Don't think I didn't notice. Stealing candy from a child. Jesus. Fuck's the matter with you? And the, let's see. Yeah, you have that thing about, too bad there's no one around here to investigate these sorts of things, and then his little smile. And he mentions something called broken window theory or something along those lines. Haven't heard of that. Have heard of broken window, like policing maybe, which has been really detrimental. So yeah, it's possible that that's what they're invoking. Maybe it's in fact, I don't think he said broken window policing, but yeah, I can imagine it is meant to reference that. I think that pretty much gets us to the so yeah, the okay, I think just to make sure to increase the likelihood that I'm not going to forget anything, I'm going to wrap up at least one of these overall like subplots of the episode. So construction. Yeah. The guy goes off to use the bathroom. Sending a fax to... Okay. And, comes, he comes back running, followed by walkers walking. And they were going to leave Francine behind. Yeah, Jesus Christ. And Tobin is even like, Francine, tell him. Jesus. But yeah, we have the Abraham is 100% on, in his element. He crouches under and crawls away whilst firing. I've played enough Left 4 Dead. I know that's a decent strategy under those circumstances. And let's see, the yeah, and also clever of him, he's the one who tells her to get inside the vehicle thing. And yeah, Tobin, I appreciate, that's positive masculinity. Tobin doesn't, have such a frail ego that he can't, handle being shown up. Like, the moment that I saw him and Deanna in the same room, I was a little worried that he was gonna like lie and we were gonna find out, oh, this is, one of the, one of the downsides of Alexandria is you can't trust, and like Deanna would believe him because she's known him for longer. But no, he actually says, you know what? Fair enough. Abraham deserves this more than I. I mean, yeah, like, listen, to the guys who are still like, oh, what's positive masculinity? Why are you calling some masculinity toxic? That's positive masculinity. Like, recognizing when there's just someone that's more suited to an important job than you, and accepting it and actually saying, hey, you should hire this person. I mean, it's not like they're going to kick Tobin out of Alexandria. I'm sure Deanna will find him another job. So it genuinely would only have been his ego. Now, yeah, I think that... I still feel like there's a tiny bit too many. I think so I'll talk Gabriel next. So that was... Oh boy. He even says to Deanna that he's worried it's too late. Like, Jesus. And I like that Deanna says, you've given me a lot to think about, because that's the kind of thing that could be taken in a number of different ways. There is ambiguity there. Is she saying, I have to plan how I'm going to handle this so that it doesn't, cause problems? Or is she saying, please leave, I'm not buying it, because, like, that sounds like the kind of thing you might say to some. That's what you say to get the Jehovah's Witnesses off your front steps, like that's sometimes, but sometimes it is the no, I'm actually going to take this seriously. And Maggie overhears, so yeah. And let's see, I also and it's around that time, I think. Yeah, Gabriel, I believe, is after the Tobin scene, and right after Tobin leaves, Deanna says, you recommended someone, for um yeah, one, yeah, something about someone, one of your people being recommended for a job, and you say that that's a good idea. I see what's happening here, which again, like, you know I it's one of those things. You could take it as like, oh, are you trying to, like, take over, or is, and Maggie does say, well, we we're here because you recognized that we can help. And that was also the fact that Gabriel, a couple of the choice things that Gabriel said include that, this is paradise and they don't deserve it. They're not who you think. They're not good people. They've done terrible things, So these are some very, yeah, because it's one thing if he just, like, showed up and said, I don't like Rick or something. But no, these are sufficiently specific kind of claims that, yeah. I guess that pretty much just leaves the the people who left for the equipment for the power, and Sam. Yes, so let's talk. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So one more. So Pete, Dr. Pete, shows up and says, he just wants to thank him with a beer. And Rick is like, well, I didn't really accomplish anything. And then he says, that's the thing, like, no, I'm not, on duty right now. Well, you can drink then, can't you? I saw you at the party drinking, so you can drink. Oh boy, that was a pregnant pause. I was very worried about what sentence was about to be born out of that, because, yeah, um, I was thinking it, and I'm pretty sure Rick and everyone else watching was thinking that he was about to say that he saw Rick kissing, not Santa Claus, but Jesse. And, yeah, that was, holy crap. And I quite liked Rick. You know, there's a little bit of focus on his wedding band the after Reg leave. Pete, God damn it, after Pete leaves. You know, thinking like, am I really going to break up, you know, a marriage? And let's see. I think that might just leave. So yeah, there are several things to talk about for the yeah, the group leaving for electrical supplies. Right. I like the thing about, you know, apparently Eugene is always blasting music. I was slightly unclear on that, because the line was great. Another mix or something like that. I was slightly unclear on if the joke is supposed to be, you know, if it's like, I mean, obviously the great part is sarcastic, but is it also sarcastic to be calling it another mix? Like maybe it's the same mix playing each time, but, you know, yeah, it was that was fun and a good bit of setup and payoff, you know, because later Eugene uses it to lure walkers away and 100% saves the yeah, saves both Deanna's son's buddy and Glenn, and it would have saved Noah if it hadn't been for that meddling Deanna's son's friend. And yeah, the thing about playing, you know, either the same exact piece of music or just having multiple versions of it that the others find, you know, too too similar. Um, in either case, again, suits the you know, the reading of Eugene as being on the autistic spectrum. And let's see. And I suppose I should briefly include, I say that with love. I've met dozens of wonderful people on the autistic spectrum. This is not, you know, Maha telling people that, you know, taking Tylenol is going to lead to autism. And yeah, I think that yeah. So yes, they drive away and they get to the place, and yeah, at first, it's getting to be, it's silly for me to call him Deanna's son's friend every single time. So until I memorize his name, he is uh, POS, piece of shit. So yeah, Glenn points out, we gotta worry about the different entrances and exits, and POS is just like, how about we just take the front door? It's a miracle you've stayed alive this long. You and anyone else that, I mean, I guess really it was just POS and Deanna's son who have, because they left everybody else to fucking die. Jesus Christ. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I do appreciate that Deanna's son does say, we'll do it Glenn's way. Mistakes, they've made a few. And so they face the final curtain. I think that's enough to drive home the reference. So Tara really badly wants Eugene to learn how to shoot. And by the end of the episode, he's not terrible. He's at least willing to shoot. He, maybe needs to get a little bit better at, keeping, sufficiently calm and, yeah. But he's at least doing something. That it wasn't exactly how she had hoped to inspire him, but beggars can't be choosers. And yeah, she reads it as cowardice, which, I mean, I understand given the circumstance. I am not the biggest fan of, and I'm not sure it's necessarily the episode saying that we should see it that way. I, let's see, did he say that himself? I believe he even himself pointed out, I mean, if he genuinely can't do it, he's a liability. Like, I'm not saying that there isn't value in him being able to engage in violence against zombies, considering zombies, but maybe ease into it instead of like bringing him along on some, yeah. Anyway, but I did enjoy, she's like, are you that big of a coward? And he's like, yes, I thought we made that clear. And let's see. Yeah, I think that pretty much gets us to. All right, there's more of the. Okay, yeah, I'll briefly talk about it. So yeah, Sam, runs up to, he asks, or wait, shit. It's didn't she find him? That's right. Yeah, she finds him and he is looking for cookies, or maybe it's just an excuse. And, he's the yeah. Okay, so there's a lot to love that I really want to talk about, but I definitely want to make sure that I don't forget to say I think he really was looking for cookies when he followed her in the episode before this one. I don't think he like realized that there was more there. He did seem surprised um, about the guns, but I think it might have been a symptom. Like maybe he eats his feelings when he doesn't. You know, is it vandalism if it's technically your own property, or is that just like art criticism? I don't know. But the yeah, him coming back. I realize he said he wanted cookies. I think and that they did make cookies, and only then does he bring up guns. I think he was like, I mean, maybe on the surface level, he wanted cookies, because who doesn't want cookies? But I think the let's see, what's the word again? I think there's that thing about I have to admit I only fairly recently learned, but kids are much more perceptive about the behavior of adults in their personal lives than a lot of adults like to think. Yeah, because like he goes and asks Carol for a gun. He could ask Olivia. He knows that he knows that place well enough that he can steal chocolate. So, the reason he doesn't ask Olivia is because she'll say no. And yeah. Let's see. So the yeah. The a little later, cuts back, and she comes in and knocks on the door. She opens, and he's like, got the child. She's like, in here. Okay. Second lesson for the art of chocolate thievery. Don't wave the stolen goods around in plain view of anyone looking in this direction. Am I going to have to teach you everything about point of view stealth? Have you not played Commandos 2? If so, you should. I actually kind of envy you the experience of a first time playthrough. I must have played through that game like 5 fucking times. Anyway, keeping in mind it is like several dozen hours long for a playthrough, if you're being thorough. And I was. My wrists were better back then. That's in case anyone was wondering, because these days I can't play anywhere near as much as back then. Anyway, yes. Yeah, I think that is so yeah. They find the electronic thing, and there's they note that, well, we're definitely not leaving through the front entrance. Got that, audience? And yeah, I'm actually not 100% sure. I guess military, maybe. Zombie walks up, and at first he's just like throwing away bullets like they're candy. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Can you not see? You have a flashlight. I can see your fucking flashlight. You can't shoot through that's the entire point of this part of the fucking helmet. Jesus Christ. And he shoots like in the leg, and right before he hits it, I think it's Glenn who like spots it and is like, no, stop shooting. Fucking explosion. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and I guess there's some more. I'll talk some more Sam and Carol. And so Carol does not want to get attached. It's one thing with Judith. That's like she was already attached to both, well, I guess I was about to say both father and mother, also brother of that family. With Sam, it's not, she's trying to not get too attached. So, she keeps saying, we're baking, we're not talking. And then later, I told her we're not talking. Just because we're not friends doesn't mean we can't talk. And the let's see. Yeah, there's the thing about, you're only getting half the cookies because you only did half the work. And the part of it is, of course, also she doesn't exactly want this to become a habit, and yeah, the he asked, did you like cooking? I mean, before. And eventually she's like, I was good at cooking. It distracted me from being sad. And then he says, sometimes when I'm sad, I break things. And of course, Carol is like, what kind of things? And then he doesn't want to answer. It's like, Sam, I don't know if it's going to be Carol after the events of this episode, but someone has got to teach you to be better. If you're going to do things you then have to lie about, which you shouldn't, obviously, you got to become a better liar, dude. Jesus. You know you might as well have, like, as soon as she asked, what kinds of things do you break, you might as well, instead of like not really saying anything, you might as well have said, well, certainly not the owl statue. It was like that when I got here, it really was. And then he asks, he says that he hasn't told anyone about the guns still. And he asks if he could have a gun, to which she asks, why do you want a gun? To which he responds, it's not for me. Yeah, I mean, even if she did not have literal personal experience with this, rest in piss, Ed. The that was his name, wasn't it? Ed? Or am I thinking of someone else? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. She would still be able to recognize this is, the way that he's talking, the kinds of things he's trying to do, stuff like this, yeah, this is, yeah, there's abuse. This is, there's domestic abuse going on in that household. The fact that she went through it herself makes it personal. And I guess this is a good time to talk about. So yeah, they managed to get back in the after the explosion. They managed to get Tara into the onto the desk, and there's the thing about, well, we gotta get her out of here, and then there's POS didn't even properly check for signs of life. Wait, no shit. He didn't check at all, did he? He just thought, oh, well, he's unconscious. He's not going to wake up before we're gone anyway. Jesus Christ. POS really is a POS. But the, well, let's see. We have the, yeah, so they go to try to get him out of there. And, POS gives away about them abandoning people, to which Deanna's son says, don't abandon me. And I mean, Glenn really tried. Like, it genuinely is POS, 100%. That see, yeah, I'm a tiny bit worried when POS returns to Alexandria. Well, let's see. I guess no, yeah. They said throw him in the back, so they're going back to Alexandria with POS without Deanna's son. If POS says, I wanted to save him, but they forced me to abandon your flesh and blood after Deanna talked to Gabriel, I'm a tiny bit concerned. Yeah. But the yeah, so ultimately Sam runs out. And Carol goes to the house, knocks, and Pete won't let her in. I almost kind of wonder if he even means it when he said something like, he seemed, or wait, am I thinking of a different? God damn it. He definitely asked Rick. He said that his kids should also come in for a checkup since they were out there for so long. And he was clearly drunk, so maybe he just says it even if he is like in a messed up state. but yeah, and Carol asks, is Sam okay? To which Pete asks, why wouldn't he be? Which, yeah, not necessarily the exact wording, but the tone did feel like he wasn't really asking so much as just like like he's not saying, are you worried? Please tell me. I want to take care of my son. Yeah. Um, so let's see. We have the part where yeah. So they leave behind in after the explosion. They leave behind Deanna's son. I don't think the people making the show think his character is a very good person, because that is a brutal way to die. Jesus Christ. Do appreciate the George Romero reference, though. That was, I mean, the show obviously already owes a lot to him, but that might be the most overt reference. Yeah. And yeah, so they try to get out, and they end up, stuck in the revolving doors, which, yeah. And, he's like, well, you have guns. And Glenn has to point out, you have the ammo. This is why we're supposed to work as a unit, because otherwise guns and ammo get separated. And yeah, they end up stuck in different compartments. So there's and let's see, there's the thing about the let's see, the shit, is that, yeah, I'm struggling to remember the exact order, but yeah, Eugene drives past. That was also great when he's like carrying her, we leave no one behind, and shooting walkers, and yeah, luring them away. And he even, like, just to make sure, he like yells, come and get me, to draw in more walkers. But yeah, Noah dies. Also very very, very harsh, brutal death for him. In his case, I don't think it's that the people making it don't like his character. I think that's more of a, like, sad. Yeah. POS is causing so much harm. And Eugene, god damn, he doesn't say, oh yeah, let's get out of here, because, like, that would be the cowardly thing. He says, where are the others? And POS says that he's going to drive away, leaving all of them stranded if Eugene doesn't get back in the car now. Jesus Christ. And Eugene goes for his gun. Oh my God. I mean, I'm not sure Eugene would have come out on top if not for Glenn, getting back in time. But the fact that he even tried, holy shit. And in Alexandria, Carol tells Rick, and, even if you didn't have the level of trust between the two of them, they've known each other for so long, him as a cop, hearing, someone who he knows has been abused, saying there's domestic, by their domestic partner, saying there's domestic abuse going on, here, with specifically some of the people you are here to protect. Yeah, like that is something that he, is obviously going to respond to. Yeah, the and she says it's not gonna go. He's not gonna go down easily. You're gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish the exact line, but you know what she said needed to happen there. So yeah, that's and yeah, I holy shit. I can hardly wait, and I won't wait for very long to see. So there's just 2 more episodes of this season. I don't think it was accidental that Michonne's sword was clearly visible in at least some of the, the part where Pete, clearly drunk, talks to Rick, and you get this sense of tension. Yeah, because there's a couple of things there. That's a weapon, and by the end of the episode, he's being asked to use a weapon. Yeah, to use lethal force against Pete. But it's not his weapon, so maybe it's not his place to stop Pete at that point in the episode, I mean. And the weapon is put away, like normally Michonne just has it in the sheath, and yeah. So very, very nicely done on that. Yeah. Goddamn. I can hardly wait to see the next. Yeah. I will say about Noah. I think part of what makes it I'm trying to shit. Okay, now I definitely can't cover up. Okay, never mind. You know how I end these. I try to end them on a joke. Can't do the smooth setup to make it sound like I want to say something serious. So here comes the joke. Wasn't that good to begin with? Or I don't know. You can let me know if you disagree with my opinion of it. But oh right, actually, yeah. Hold on, I have 2 jokes, if you want to call them that. Yeah, the let's see. After the explosion, um, there's a little bit of confusion about where is he? Noah is nowhere to be found. And then the poor guy died from overenthusiastic cheek pinching.